Tashdile, this is Sakina Bhatt and welcome to Tibet This Week, a weekly news on Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Central Tibetan Administration. Let's look at the headlines first. Exile has been a blessing for Tibetan culture, religion and identity to thrive, says His Holiness the Dalai Lama on Chotul Duchen. Women can bring compassion into positions of power, says His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Non-violent struggle of Tibetan people will prevail, says CTA President at University of Rhode Island. CTA President attends Golden Jubilee celebration of Sakya Tibetan Society in Puruwala. US government approves $17 million in funding for Tibetans in exile and Tibet 2019. His Holiness the Dalai Lama gave teachings on the Jataka tales, the 8 verses of mind training and the praise to the 17 Nalanda masters, marking the festival of Chotul Duchen, one of the 4 major Buddhist holidays observed by the Tibetan Buddhists on the 15th day of the first Tibetan month on Tuesday this week. Addressing the gathering, His Holiness expressed pride and conviction that the Tibetan people, despite facing adversities, have remained steadfast in their commitment to the cause and preservation of Tibetan religious and cultural heritage. His Holiness mentioned that the undaunted and unwavering spirit of Tibetans in Tibet and the committed efforts of those in exile have ensured that the Tibet issue is not forgotten. His Holiness also gave short teachings on the 8 verses of mind training and praise to the 17 Nalanda masters. His Holiness the Dalai Lama is giving 5-day teachings in Dharamshala on Bhavi Vikas text, Essence of the Middle Way, which began on Wednesday this week. His Holiness said that it is extremely important that those who follow Buddha should have faith based on knowledge of his teachings. Therefore, one should examine the reasons for it with an unbiased and inquisitive mind and analyzing it closely. His Holiness the Dalai Lama meets all-women delegation of Young Fiki Ladies Organization from Delhi at his residence in Dharamshala on Monday this week.
I can sort of promote those female nuns should study equal way. That's about, I think, 30, 40 years ago. I publicly sort of mentioned. So their response is also very good. So as a result, now 2 years ago, we already have top scholar from nuns.
According to His Holiness, encouraging more women to assume leadership roles is not only good for the women lot, but also beneficiary to the entire world. Women at the helm of power could secure a more peaceful, compassionate future for the 7 billion human beings. His Holiness further expressed that in 21st century, women should take a more active role in the field of education for the promotion of deeper human values. CTA President Dr. Lobsang Singh visited the University of Rhode Island at the invitation of the Center for Non-Violence and Peace Studies on Thursday last week. President Singh spoke on the topic Non-Violent Struggle and International Relations of Tibetan People, Peace Lessons for the World. He explained that he travels around the world to advocate the issue of Tibet, but lamented how his visits have never been featured on the front page of newspapers because it did not involve killing, suicide bombers, or guns. He said that the practice of non-violence is very difficult. Speaking on the middle way approach for a peaceful resolution for the Tibet issue, Dr. Singh remarked that through non-violence and dialogue, Tibetan people seek genuine autonomy in conformity with the Constitution of the People's Republic of China and the National Religion Autonomy Law. It's a win-win proposition that the Chinese counterpart do not accept. Dr. Singh also addressed the issue of Tibet at the Pearson College of Yale at the invitation of the Yale Political Union. Asia being home to more than half of the world's population, in which many countries depend on the glaciers as a primary water source, Dr. Singh stated that Tibet should matter as the third pole of the world, as the largest reservoir of ice water after the two poles, and as a source of fresh water for the 1.5 billion people living in Asia. Dr. Singh added that rampant and unsustainable mining, disregarding the ecology and local people in Tibet, has only added to the depleting glaciers of Tibet. After his address at the Yale University, Dr. Singh met with the Tibetan community of Narvik. During the interaction, Dr. Singh spoke of the increasing pressure from China making official visits to Europe nations, Canada and Australia more difficult. He also cautioned the Tibetan community of attempts by China to create discord in the Tibetan community and in between CTA and the public, advising the Tibetan community to be vigilant and not be swayed by such maneuvers. President Dr. Lobsang Singh greeted Sakya Tibetan Society Puruwala and their patron Kyabje Sakya Gongma Rinpoche on the occasion of their 50th founding anniversary at the Sakya Thubden Namgyalling Institute on Thursday this week. As the chief guest of the ceremony, Dr. Singh extended his congratulations to all the members of the Sakya Tibetan Society and took the occasion to express gratitude to Kyabje Sakya Gongma Triche Rinpoche for the valuable leadership he gave to the Puruwala Tibetan community throughout 50 years. Kyabje Gongma Triche Rinpoche served as the 41st head of the Sakya Order of Tibetan Buddhism until March 2017. On Friday last week, the US President Donald Trump signed the Consolidated Appropriations Act 2019, which sanctioned the fiscal year 2019 funding for several government departments through September 30, 2019. The appropriation bill included not less than $8 million for the Tibetan Autonomous Region and other Tibetan communities in China, $6 million for Tibetan community in India and Nepal, and $3 million to strengthen the capacity of Tibetan institutions and governance in exile. In addition to the total $17 million listed here, there are also other Tibetan programs from the US government. Expressing his gratitude to the US government and Congress for the funding, President Dr. Lobsang Singh said, "We remain grateful to the US government and the Congress for the generous and continued financial assistance towards the Tibetan community in Tibet and exile." So much for this week. See you next time and have a great weekend.